Hey y'all, I thought it was high time for a garden tour, which includes the cottage garden here in the front, the Wildflower Meadow to the side of the house, and the country Potager vegetable garden. So if you're new here or if you haven't been following on Instagram, I have just gone back to teaching after a 14 or so year break from education. So I've been a 4th grade teacher and I've gotten a little rusty at the video making because I'm so exhausted. All the time. I'd come home and I'd lay down. So when I made this cottage garden, I did it as lazy as I could. I bought some huge pieces of vinyl to cover and smother out all the grass and weeds. You have to leave it there for at least 6 months. For us, that's the case anyway. Let it really bake in the late summer sun, and then you're ready by springtime. My Mother's Day usually for us is when we can plant and not worry about a freeze too badly. So yeah, the alliums were so great. I'm gonna even buy more next year. The alliums with the purple bearded iris really worked out really well. Right now we're in the time of the lilies, and things are really starting to turn out. This is our 2nd year for this part of the cottage garden, and last summer we smothered out the 2nd little island over here, and everything is pretty new there, but I think we're filling in pretty nicely. You can see a lot of alliums have faded, but if they will stay strong and stay standing, I'll leave them as long as they will. I've got some new zinnias that I planted from seed here. Some of them, I just can't get enough of this acid green, or what would you call it, chartreusey color. This is for when chickens get out and they don't dig my seeds up. So during the school year, I just kind of managed to get stuff planted. Then, like, just trying to survive to the end of the year. What is that on the lens? So the name of the game at the end of the school year was like, get some stuff planted on the weekends and survive. And so most of this stuff, luckily, the weather would provide some rain pretty regularly, so everything got a good start while I was busy and exhausted being a 4th grade teacher this year. But so this time of year, now that I'm out, it's time to just kind of put a few more things in and weed and just maintain and water when we need. Luckily we just got a big rain this weekend. You can see we're already getting grassy. I mean, we put a hardwood mulch in that thick over Christmas break, and it is like here now. So it takes a lot of mulch. Of course, we have a lot of area here. We've got way too much path, but that's what I'm working on. I'm starting to make some beds, as you see, in the ground, not only doing the raised beds with the stock tanks, but yes, I welcome every stock tank I can come across. The potatoes are starting to get so big that they're slumping over, which is good for the tomatoes that were ringing those potato plants. They're finally getting some sun. They might be a little more behind than they would have been, but I think it's working out okay. We've got a good source for this hardwood mulch that we can just bring trailer loads home. And so I can fill in these stock tanks with that stuff and try to compact it in maybe the 2nd year get some soil on top. And also we compost as much as we can from the kitchen and the yard, so it takes a while. It's a process. Here I've got, what was it? 100 yellow onions and a volunteer sunflower there on the other side of the asparagus bed. Also there's a random tomato, and I don't know what this weedy thing is, but it might be a flower. We're gonna wait and see. So because this is kind of a country cottage potager kind of thing, I've added some ornamental stuff, you know, some flowers here and there. We've got a double-headed lily that's gonna go crazy here in about a week, and some wildflower seed, some ornamental grass, but also if the weeds are not in my way and they are pleasant looking, I don't stress about it. And we've got 4 thornless blackberries that are getting there. I think these are the Osage variety, which I think were developed here in Arkansas, so it should do pretty well. I'm gonna let this asparagus have another year and let it go to seed this year. Half of the bed is new asparagus. Of course, there's morning glory trying to take over. And then this is last year's. And it's just about pencil size, which is where you want it to be when you harvest. But now I've let it get way too hard. Next year's the thing. Just wanted to make sure it got a good start before I start to weaken it. So I've taken that old vinyl and I'm trying to tame this embankment on the side of the garden here. I'm gonna try to find some kind of ground cover that won't get too tall, but it will keep the weeds from growing through at the same time. I don't know. This stuff just went down this spring, so it's got months and months for me to think about what to put down. So yeah, that's where we are. What have you got growing out that way? Let me know in the comments. Life is what you make it. Let's get our hands dirty.